Just more death threats on the astral plane from pseudo masters. Sorry, you guys. I exist. So the On Demons video, part 3. There was this one demon at the end. Most of you guys aren't even allowed to watch that video, and I'm going to be taking it down as soon as possible. The only people that are going to be allowed to watch that video are the people I super trust, you know? But at the end, there's this demon. It's the Archangel Kamail demon. It's the boundary-setting tyrant for the planet. And it's not that Archangel Kamail is a demon, but there is a component to Archangel Kamail's life. Because Archangel Kamail is the front line to God's war against demons. All day long, every day, for infinity and forever. So there's a component to being an Archangel Kamail or an Archangel Kamail in training. So you're like the leader of Gryffindor. You have to be the strongest, the bravest, the smartest, the fastest, everything. And you have to be so connected to God that you can call out anybody at all day long, even if they're holding knives to your throat. It's really embarrassing to have to like call out my gurus. On the hierarchical spectrum, Archangel Kamail is the most important archangel on the tree. And this is why Archangel Metatron sits at the top. But at the end of the day, it's Archangel Kamail that everybody depends on. So Archangel Kamail has to be the smartest, fastest, and best of all of them. That's the one who does all the real work. So handles all the dragons, all the demons, all the intersections between this world and other worlds. There is no room for excuses in an Archangel Kamail territory. There is only room for having to set 5 million new boundaries against people's narcissism, evil, and delusions of grandeur about how good and divine they actually are. Because if they were really that divine, they'd be Archangel Kamail. And then I could take a vacation. And instead, I don't. Instead, I get slaughtered all day long by assholes. So here's the demon component. People go, oh, it's Archangel Kamail. I can attack her. Or him. Because it's Archangel Kamail. They should be strong enough. It's like, yeah, you're the dragon warrior. I should be able to slaughter you. And you should be able to just defend yourself. And then I'm not a sinner. It's not on me. You triggered me. Because you're the dragon warrior. All day long. You guys are not only sinners, but criminals. And testing God's boundary like that, in that level of insubordinance, irreverence, and disobedience to divine authority will be held accountable. That is your karma. That is my karma. Man, if I attacked an Archangel Kamail, my life would be over. And you guys, like, a lot of you guys take it like a joke. 0 level. 0. Like, Archangel, you're supposed to be Archangel Kamail's slave for infinity. That's how you get divine light. Not like, oh, I'm in competition with Archangel Kamail, so I'm going to attack Archangel Kamail like an idiot. Like an idiot. You guys look like jokes when you do stuff like that, even just in the mind or in the emotions. Jokes. You guys are frauds and jokes and know nothing about God. Nothing. Because if you knew, you would know all of these archangels. All of them. And you would know how they work and the structures of rules around them. You'd also know all of the inside jokes and all of the energy flows. It shows how low you guys are on the spectrum. Pretty bad. So, because this is a public, I gotta say this out loud. So for my few students that are actually climbing the tree, just take this as a warning. He's like, Archangel Kamiel is your best friend. You worship that person because they're like your hero. They're on God's side. That's why they're Archangel Kamiel. So, knowing that if I went to slaughter an Archangel Kamiel, it better be to like me showing up with a giant paper of fallacies and like actions, criminal actions that like Archangel Kamiel is doing against God or against divine law that needs to be like accounted for and healed. So like I would approach it like a Hufflepuff, not like a Slytherin. Let me attack them. Because Archangel Kamiel should be the most reasonable and practical and high insight intellect. Responsible. And if you brought truth and wisdom and clarity and reasonability, Archangel Kamiel would be appropriate in response. But one shady thought, just one, that just gets in the way of Archangel Kamiel. While Archangel Kamiel is in the middle of like 5,000 jobs to do, one shady fucking thought. Done. Joke. Makes you into a joke. Irreverence, a sin. The energy around Archangel Kamiel is so fiery and pure. It's not like hooks to like lure you in and then stab you. God, no. It's like boundaries, boundary, boundary, boundary. Fire. I'm sorry you guys just don't get it. I'm sorry you guys are just evil. Snakes, 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 snakes. All right. This year is me trading like hardcore for Archangel Kamiel position. And even in my third eye, I can feel even just a hints of irreverence towards like Archangel Kamiel, hints of it. And it's like, oh, that's horrifying. It's horrifying. So, let's begin. Snakes and ladders. Yeah, there's no shade. None with Archangel Kamiel. That's like a nice energy. No shade. It feels like, man, that's God taking care of me. So snakes and ladders, part 2, the spine. So we began the first part with the dragon tail. Now we're going to go into the back of the spine where the root chakra is, into the tailbone. But we're going to begin at the coccyx and attaching the tail into the coccyx. And it goes, we're going to get into that energy. I am an evil person. Through the root. You're going to feel it. You're going to go, oh, if you did the first video, you're going to go, oh, I thought I healed this. You're just going to go deeper. And if it makes you want to do your dragon tail again, a second time, you should, you know. Am I going to? We'll see. I should. Maybe I'll do it at like bedtime. Something like that. So, I am an evil person through the root. So, you'll start to see the wires from the tail grow up and enter the first bone of the coccyx. And it will latch on. Rattlesnake tail. And then you'll start to see the pearl glue. And then you do the metal coccyx bone 2. And then the pearlescent glue. Coccyx bone 3. And the pearlescent glue. Coccyx bone 4. Now I'm sinking into it. Yeah, that feels good. And what's showing is the knives that are now stuck in the bottom part of the tail. They flipped up for me to clear them with lava. So I clear those out with lava. And then we have that pearlescent glue on the coccyx bone 4. So now we're going to do the Protego Totalum on the whole coccyx, all 4 of them, with the pearlescent glue. And then we're going to do the Salvia Hexia honeycomb. We can do the yellow one, or we can do the blue. We can do both. And then we can do the aloe green one, and then the Fiento Duri. grape jelly, and then we do the marshmallow. Yeah, and then we set that marshmallow on fire with a violet flame. Oh my god, and we can violet flame our entire tail. Clean it out. If you want to do the bone for realignments, bone dimension, put more bone in your coccyx. And this is where the Archangel Kamael energy starts to come in, because once you put more bone, B1, in your coccyx, it's like alignment to God, you know? And then you'll see the red light and the bone and the red light. And it feels healthy, like present, and like highly pragmatic and logical. Just solid, good. Simple. Then we go, oh my goodness, and then we let those wires crawl up into the sacrum bone. So we go to sacrum bone 1. And they'll weave into it, and then they'll latch on and then glue with the pearlescent glue. And then we go, oh, pearlescent glue. And then we go sacrum bone 2. Those wires climb and weave in. I feel it balancing. Oh, you might want to vomit too. There we go, sacrum bone 3. Sacrum bone 4. Sacrum bone 5. I really like the downloads coming through about the different orders of angels. So it's like, so we have the Beni Elohim. They're like half gods, you know? Okay. So then we go the Elohim, which is the lower him. They're the lower him angels. The Malachim, which are the main him angels. And we're talking about like maim the demon component, right? And then there are the seraphim, which are light them on fire, angels. And then there's the hashmalim, which are the hush the bad in him, angels. The next ones up are the Aralim. I think that's like make the him fly. Like get out of here, you know. Because it's be no, you know. So like it's you're like either turning that man into like an angel or you're like turning it into like nothing. And then you've got the Ophanim, and that's O fawn over him, I think. That's where he'll have no more vices. So by the time they're actually in Hokmah, like real Hokmah, then you're like, oh, now he's acceptable. Now that person's an acceptable human. And then you've got the Hayot HaKodesh. I think it's like, begin again, you know? Just keep going. All right. Because they're like levels. They're like, so you have the human level. That's like the muggle level, right? And then you've got the master, witch, and wizard level. And then you've got the angel level. And then you've got the archangel level, which is where I am expecting people to be at. And then on many layers. And then you've got the like God level. Like, that's a whole other ball game. So yeah. All right. And then you're gonna get like a God's God level. So there are many contexts to like work with. So okay, so we're at sacrum bone now. All that should be pearled up, protego totalum, and then it should be salvio hexiad. I love how people might be taking what I've been saying personally online as if like, man, as if I haven't gone through excruciating pain and torture, also being left to starve to death on a beach for months while they're like asking me to give them pity parties. Like, what are you expecting? It's like Draco Malfoy like asking Harry Potter for like, oh, my life is so hard. Please, I want you to feel sorry for me after I've been slaughtering you for the last decade. That Fianto Duri grape jelly, and then we got the marshmallow goo on the sacrum. And we're gonna light it on fire with a violet flame. All right, that feels pretty good. So now we're gonna have you go L5. Then you're gonna pearlescent glue that. Oh, if you want to like aloe honeycomb the sacrum bone, that's good. Honeycomb, yeah, that's also good. All right, L5. L4. L2. L1. Okay, so let me teach you about irreverence and sins while we pearl all those up. And then protego totalum them. So just let them weave and wrap in and pearl them. Okay. Irreverence. The 1 second it took for me to take pride in my work, some little kid's head just got chopped off. The ones just for me to take pride in my work. So the minute that I go, the kid's head just got chopped off. One second. I could have sent that energy, boom. And it's not a joke. So instead of being prideful, I'd like to start attacking the demons. Start rewiring them because I'm more comfortable with that than going to save the kid because that's my comfort zone. So I'll take on the fight or the battle of the current demons I know that are existing. That might be not the best long-term arrangement, but we'll get there. See, because I know also if I go to slaughter a demon, that kid's life also gets saved too. So because it's the demon connects in a passive way on the back end to that kid's fate. So I set a boundary. So another reason why irreverence is a sin, and pride. All right, and honestly, to be in Gryffindor, it's like gone. You're not allowed. One thought, just one thought of something irreverent or prideful, done. Game over. Lost the fight. Somebody's hand got just chopped off. All day long, every day. Forever. So while fake masters send me death threats, They lust. They lust in their ego. They indulge in that evil. It's like, Babaji, never underestimate a demon, ever. Never give them even one, like, don't give them a millimeter. Zero. Give them nothing. Okay. So we salviohexia the lower lumbar vertebrae. Now we are going to allosalviohexia. And then we're gonna yellow honeycomb salviohexia. And then we're going to Fiantoduri. What's so weird and counterproductive about a Slytherin, like, countering your healing spells, they're doing it to themselves all day long. So, and then they want to, like, jerk off and then, like, tell you their healing issues is because of genetics, and it's not. It's because of their curses that they do all day long. Or their counter healing spell, like, their curses, their black magic. This is why Jesus even goes, pray for thy enemy. So it's like, a Slytherin, if they were smart, would pray for an Archangel Kamael. Seriously. If they were smart. But that's what makes them a Slytherin. But an Archangel Kamael will always pray for a Slytherin. So they'll always be like, here's some giant honeycomb goo and marshmallow. Because it gets them out of the way, like, much faster, and, like, also counteracts all the gross spells. So it's like, you pray for their healing all day long. It's nasty, but it works. It's better. It works. Dumping salviohexia on Slytherins does not make them more powerful. What it does is it counters all their dark black magic spells. So that they can start making the right choices to go into God. Protego totalum, salviohexias, Fiantodories. And then we violet flame those lower lumbar. Boom. I'm going to put more pearlescent glue in between all the vertebrae. And then I'm also going to put the bone dimension in the sacrum. More bone energy. It might be like marshmallow bone paste. And then it layers and dumps into the sacrum, into the coccyx. Into the lower lumbar. Now, if you want to dump the muscle energy, that's really good too. And then the nerve. Okay. If you want to pour the circulatory system on there, that might be great. Respiratory, digestive, endocrine. Ooh, putting the end of crying dimension or end of crime energy on the entire tail is really nice. End of crime. Did I cry the past couple months? A couple times, but mostly it was just war and hell. So, like, when I'm in battle, when I'm like dealing with those crazies, most of the time it's like I'm just fighting for my life, for them to not like take over. And then it's like, oh, the crying might come later when I finally feel safe and even available to like emotionally heal. It's like even mother, and this is where that tough love comes in, because Mother Andromeda will be like, "You're not allowed to feel sorry for yourself right now. Get out of this. Like we need to do work." And she comes in a lot like that. So it's cleaning up Mother Andromeda's genomes. Always cleaning. All right. So now we claw into the thoracic vertebrae. So we're gonna do the imaginary T14 and imaginary T14 and T13. Let's go T14 and then pearl glue it. Then T13 and then pearl glue it. And just, you can imagine them that like they're actual vertebrae, but they're in a pocket dimension. This might be the anti-Slytherin device. Man. That would make sense, actually. Just to demons, that doesn't make sense, but to an angel who works with Hathor, that it would. All right. So you might want to put bone in those. And then nerve. Now, this also accesses you to a different vibratory dimension setup, like where you bypass earthly logic. So it's almost like you step outside of the matrix world. So it's a special access code. So you have different rules and different laws. Circulatory, respiratory, digestive. And that's where, it's in the digestive, that's where the anti-Slytherin device will be. Circulatory, respiratory, endocrine. And that's where I hear we have no problems on this planet. We're not going to allow Slytherins. And then the reality check is that they already exist and we have to fix everything today. So, like, it's like saying, oh, because you're not getting stabbed to death, that other people aren't on the planet, and that's not true at all. Right? So Slytherins still exist, even if we don't have them in the magical world yet. And hopefully we can bypass that component. Okay. So now we go into, and then we can plug in the reproductive, lymphatic. Oh, and the reproductive, that's where a magical blood genome will go. In those two templates. So you'll watch that and it will light up with gold. And then you even might see the repellosquibtum, like octopuses, floating around that as it activates. I think it's really clear and that like just nice. Okay, then we go lymphatic, urinary, invasive, integumentary. We're good. All right, let's go T12. Oh, I know. You guys want 5 seconds to put all that stuff in. T12, wires up, claw in. Pearl glue. T11, wires up, claw in, weave in, pearl glue. T10, claw up, plug in, weave in, pearl glue. T9, there we go. It's a nice shift for me. T9, claw up. I need to do repair work on this one. I put in bone. Claw in. Braid, weave in, light up, pearl glue. T8. Claw up. I have to put in more bone. Light up, weave in. If you need to do the Protego Totalum to create the grid, right? And then do the Salvio Hexia Honeycomb to create the meat and then pour in the bone, that's a really nice way to do it also. Pearl glue. Starting to feel the non-cruelty grid get much better. It's nice. All right. So we're at T8, now T7. Oh my god. Protego, Salvio Hexia, Honeycomb, and then bone. Plug in. And pearl glue. This is where, like, my brain it goes, man, I'm so unapologetic to people because they're the world's worst people. So it's kind of like, as you heal, so does your discernment. And from like understanding that there were the world's worst people, you just go, ew, compassion. Ew. So we're at T7, T6, Protego, Salviohexia, Bone. I don't even know if I did this already. I'm so my brain is now in an overburn is what I call it. Then we put the bone in. And pearl glue. We weave in, we light it up. T5. Same thing. Protego, Salvio, bone, weave in. Man, I feel like I'm rebuilding my entire vertebrae structure. That's really disconcerting, but it's not. It's hope. It gives me hope. Pearl glue. T4. Same thing. Protego, Salvio. No wonder why I couldn't do like my heart chakra at the bottom of the clipith, you know? It really hadn't grown up that far at the bottom of the clipith. Me, the angel that like starved to death on a beach for whales. Can you imagine where everybody else is at? Hopefully we firebomb the clipith instead. Or something better. Keep it going. Bone. Light. Pearl glue. It's for T4. Maybe that was for T5. I'm just gonna make T5 more solid. T3. Claw in. This is where my ego sits at T3. That's pretty funny. Because it goes, because it's like a bone, and it goes, I'm your ego. Man, I need to look that up and see what T3, where it sits in like the organs. It's probably why I could like get through all of this, you know? It's pretty high up there. It's like high heart, kind of. My ego's at my high heart. That's divinity. Sorry, that's my pride for 5 seconds. Kind of gloating. Pearl glue. T2. Plug in. Pearl glue. If you guys need to do the Protego Salvia, take the time and do it. Bone. T1. Plug in. Light up. Go Protego, Salvio. Light up. Bone. Pearl glue. Good. It looks like Charlie's losing the power to attack me. That was needed. We'll see. Man. I think I'm going to do a part 3 for above the head. I think we're going to do the spine right now. The rest of the spine and the brainstem. Okay, so cervical. C7. Oh, wait, hold on. So let's just go over all the thoracic. And we go Protego on all of them. Salvio. On the full system. Get rid of all dark magic. If you want to do a layer of honeycomb in between each vertebrae, that's good. And then to do a full honeycomb. And then we're going to do the aloe green honeycomb is kind of like the Rapello inimicum. So it's like prevent others from getting in. So it's like that. It is. And then the Fianto Duri. There we go. The grape jelly. And then we light it on. Oh, wait, we marshmallow it. And we light it on fire. It's flammable marshmallow. Whoever said marshmallow wasn't flammable has like light it on fire with the violet flame. Now, if you want to do another salve on top of that, it's good. And the tail. Oh my goodness, look at this. Man, if you look at my eyes and you see like if you saw what it was like in Netsuck and then what it was like in Hufflepuff and like the beginning of Gryffindor where it just looked like I was eaten raw. I still kind of look like that, but it's not the same. And then where I'm at now, like the Slytherin is gone. It's so much nicer. But there's still leftover ick in the brain that I have to fight, or like the body that still needs to pop out. Okay, so let's go C7. Metal claws, pearlescent glue. I don't have a problem here. So if you guys need to rebuild your vertebrae, then you guys need to do it. C6, claw up, pearlescent glue. C5. claw up. Pearlescent glue. C4, claw up. I'm finally getting some recognition about the Hashmalim being the Doms, and that it's not like a sex cult perv thing. It's like to counter the sex cult pervs. It's to whip them out of their perv. Finally, people are like, oh. Yeah, these women won't be having sex with these people. They will be whipping them with magic and intelligence and spells. Like wrapping whips around the slither and like the head of a snake. And then throwing them into the cook of Tiferet. Stuff like that. So C4, claw in, pearlescent glue, C3, claw in, pearlescent glue. C3, that's like, see where you're still triangulating. This is like, you see one bad guy because they're actually doing something, but then you have to like see the other guys that are bad because they're enabling it. Or that they've set the trap up for the space to have it manifest. So you have to like see. You have to see beyond like the good of people. You can't be in Gryffindor and then like not see like where people are gonna fuck you, dude. See where you're being gullible. C2. Pearlescent glue. C1. Claw in. Braid. Pearlescent glue. Now you do the brainstem, claw in all the way up to your pineal and your do your pituitary first. And then make sure you claw into your amygdala. You're going to pearlescent glue the whole thing. And you're going to plug into two eyes of your pituitary. You're going to pearlescent glue, and then you're going to plug into the pineal. You're going to pearlescent glue. Now, when you plug into your pineal, we want to get the wire to your pineal, but we don't want to plug it in. What we want to do is we want to light it in light, and then have it emanating light bubbles to your pineal, and then those light bubbles like serotonin moving between neurons, or light moving. So it then lights up and then fuses with your pineal. And that way it doesn't feel like rape on your pineal. So then it like connects and it like bonds instead of like, ugh. Pituitary is fine because it's just wires going through holes. But then your pineal is something different. So it fuses and then it lights up. And then that will start to create peace. And then we should open up the angel wings in the brain. I'm not an evil person. Through the earth, through the root chakra of earth. That's the point. And if you still have ick that you need to let go of, believe me, we're going to let that go. All right, so now we're going to protego totalum all that. And then salvio hexia all that. Man, my left brain still holds places for that reptile energy to like hook in, and it's ick. You all have it, but we're gonna get rid of it. We're gonna cobra acid it all next year. Everything's gonna be melted away until you guys are in like divine light body physical. Okay, so salvio hexia. And then fiantoduri. And if you need to put the bone in the marshmallow. I'm feeling another cobra head activation through the third eye. It's like, so in Kabbalah 100, we're just starting Netzach and Slytherin for Kabbalah 100. So I have 1% of myself left. That's like Slytherin. 1%. So right now I'm getting that last little bit of activation, and with the cobra head to come through. And then next month I'm going to end up cooking that python again. But it's really nothing compared to like what it was before. There is nothing on this planet that was like going through it when we hit T for it, like blindly. All right, so now you should have wires climbing up and start bringing it in. And then just right now, it already is starting to, that 1% sets on fire so fast. It doesn't even exist. Just turns to fire. That's a seraphim. That's the seraphim energy. So now those DNA claws might start climbing up. And I'm hearing, let's finish this now. And then I'm also hearing, let's finish this tomorrow. Let's do a little bit now, a couple minutes, where it just starts clawing up to 100 keyholes up. And it might do it pretty quickly. And it might start to bind to light particles and weave. Then all those light particles might start to weave to your home, egg, and like home tree, the central neural network of your home. And again, this is what I refer to as being a Harry. Man, what a DNA repair. Now, after 2 months of absolute horror show and hell, I finally feel like I'm grounded, stable, and able to go into my room and just cry, process everything. That is not irreverence, by the way. That is a healing. So then we pearlescent glue our higher and protego it and see if it will climb to new salvio hexaegrids and higher new magics. That's where I get most of my magics, by the way. I climb, my DNA climbs, and I start getting higher downloads. The hell realms are not for higher downloads. It's to clean out the ick. And that's why the Department of Mysteries will be at the top of the tree and not at the bottom. Because there are no mysteries in the realms of hell. None. The only mysteries are in the higher divine femme, higher light. I'm hearing right now. She doesn't even want to be the minister for magic. Yeah. So if anybody looks at the top of the tree of the explanations of the different orders of the ministry and like the tree, like I want to be above all of it. Like I know I'll have to play like intergalactic avatar, but then I want to even transcend that. Like I don't want to hear anybody's problems ever for infinity, and whatever it takes for me to get there is life. To me, that's the only actual way off the karma wheel. That means demons won't get to exist by that time. That's the hope. So that's me out of spiritual delusions. So as your crown grows like that, you might actually start getting higher powers to start setting people on fire in the Clippeth. So whoever might have been attacking you, you might just be setting them on fire instead. Because they're losing their rights. Because their rights, like demons have no rights. So if people's lower selves that are still existing in the lower realms, yeah, the only demons that have rights are the ones that aren't actual demons. like how Angel was a vampire, but he was not like a vampire. It's like that. So now you might start being like able to take away people's power from attacking you in the lower worlds. So that's good. So if your dragon is bound to your own spine, it can be a demon, but it's not. It's just like Avatar, dude. Make sure their DNA climbs into the higher worlds like yours. And then binds and then lights up. And then and then salveohexia and honeycomb that. The dragons choose to do that, by the way. So that takes that as that higher light energy grows up and theirs grows up and takes away their ability to attack you too. All right, this is pretty good. I'm not sure if we'll do another one. Kali Ren out.